Okay, ISSA Bounce. I made this in FL Studio.
It's a bounce, it's a bop, it's a slap, it's a knock. Run it back.
The way I work in FL is kind of different. I will do most of the beat in one pattern. In this pattern, I have bass, main melody, which is an arpeggiated chord. For the clap, I use this plugin to design the clap called Hand Clapper. That's a huge cheat code right there I just revealed. I used a hi-hat from Drums That Knock Volume 7. And actually, all these sounds are in Drums That Knock Volume 7. Pretty much the whole beat. Kick, clap, hi-hat, bass, arpeggiated melody. I put a bunch of plugins on the arpeggiated melody. Let's see what it sounds like without any of it. Crazy. Then I put Fruity Stereo Shaper on it, which gives it width. Then the limiter. I use it as a compressor just to get some of the peaks. Then I put Grow Speed on it. That's the sauce on this one. That's cool. I did a gate on Gross Beat and the halftime. Now I usually just use halftime. Then I put an EQ. I cut all the highs and all the lows, just kept the low, mid, and the mid. Just to kind of dial it back, make room for the vocals, make room for the drums. And then RC20. Just added a little bit of wobble to it and a little bit of distortion. How about that 808? I believe I designed that 808 in this session. Let's see what I did. This is some sauce right here, guys. Yeah. I designed this 808 in Harmor. What it looks like I did was I made the kick also in Harmor because you see that big spike, and that's the volume envelope. And you can see the releases here. Sounds dope. I like this 808. And this 808 is also in Drums That Knock Volume 7. So I designed this 808 in Harmor. That's dope. See, it sounds more like a kick now. Oh, there we go. So that's without the frequency low pass turned down. Designing sounds is about finding that sweet spot. You want to find that point where you're like, ooh, that feels good right there. So the 808 acts as the kick too, as you can see with this volume envelope. And what I'm doing is I'm running this into a sound goodizer. Sound goodizer really gives it body. And it's going into the master, which is going into the Fruity limiter. Give it that soft clip sound. I love the Fruity limiter actually. Yeah, the hi-hat, the hi-hat roll. One thing about Gross Beat is if you play it not from the beginning of the bar in the session, the loop gets messed up.
It's a knock.
For the clap, I showed you guys I used Hand Clapper to design the clap. And I put a stereo shaper on it just to give it width. So, with it, without it. I just used the EQ on the channel just to cut some of those highs. This is what it sounds like without it. Just cut some of those like real airy highs, some of the more extreme stuff. I did most of the vocal processing in Ableton for this one, but then I brought it in FL for the final arrangement. Usually I'll do the idea in FL, bring it into Ableton and do the final arrangement in Ableton. This way I did it the other way around. I started the beat in FL, cut the vocals in Ableton, then brought the beat back into FL to do the arrangement. And these patterns at the top have a lot of elements in them, like a little crash and some other sounds and automation below it, the drums, the arpeggiator, and the 808. So for the vocals, I added OTT.
It's a bop.
Without the OTT.
It's a slap.
With it.
It's a bounce. It's a bop.
Just a little bit of downward compression. I gain staged after OTT. It's a bop.